All right, y'all, we're going to be using the law of sine to determine missing sides of non-right triangles. So we have an example here. It says find the length of side AC in triangle ABC. And we're going to use the law of sine. And the law of sine just simply says each ratio of angle to side, and angle to side are essentially equal. And so when we do this, we really we're just setting up a proportion. And remember, a proportion really only has two parts to it. It's a fraction equal to a fraction. And because of that, we really only need two fractions in order to do this. So we don't have to set up this three-piece system going on. So when I start this, first thing I do is I look for what we are searching. And what I do is I look at the triangle. It is non-right. So we can't use right triangle trig. And what I do is I say, okay, I'm looking for this side, okay? And I am then going to start with the angle that makes that side. So I start at 38, and you'll notice I go clear across the other side to the other side of the non-right triangle. And I say, okay, well, in this case, let's see here. I've got sine of 38 over the side of B. Now, once I have that, I am going to look for a completed ratio. So I've worked with the first one that is not completed. Half of it is missing. It's the side B that is missing. Now what I need to do is the second one needs to be a full complete fraction. Okay, and in order to do that, I just look for another one that has a set, an angle and a side. An angle and a side. Okay, in fact, if you notice, it makes an X in the middle of the triangle. Okay, whenever I see that X in triangles, I automatically go, hey, I'm going to be using the law of sine. That's one visual hint for me. So I say sine of 59 over 350. So sine of 59 over 350. And I have a completed proportion minus one part, which means it is nice and solvable. So at this point, we just do a proportion. We cross multiply and divide setup. So B times sine of 59 equals to 350 times sine of 38. 350 times sine of 38. Okay, and then we are going to isolate B. And since we're going to isolate B, we are going to divide by the sine of 59. We're going to divide by the sine of 59. That cancels. B comes out. And what we are going to do is just go off the desmos and type that entire statement in. Now, when we do that, the first thing we are going to do, because we are talking about right triangles and angles, I'm going to come over to this wrench. I'm going to put this in as degrees, make sure that is in there. And then I'm just simply going to type in that fraction, 350 sine of 38. So 350 sine of 38. And then I'm going to divide it by the sine of 59. So sine of 59. Once I've got that, you're going to notice it comes out 251.387. Let's go with 251.4. And just write, okay, well, it must be 251.4. So B equals 251.4. Now, let's go ahead and take this just a step further. And let's solve for C, okay? So let's go ahead and solve for C as well. I'm sorry, for C and then this side C, okay? So the first thing we wanna do is we cannot use the Pythagorean theorem because this is not a right triangle. So I'm gonna find out how many degrees there are for angle C. So remember, there's 180 degrees in a triangle, so I take 180, I'm gonna subtract off the 38 and the 59 we knew about. And that is going to give us an 83 degree angle. So this is 83. So using the law of sine, we are going to set this up exactly the same way. We're going to use the proportion. So I'm going to say I start at 83 and I go clear across to its side. So sine of 83 over C. And then I just have to pick an angle and a side that is a complete fraction. It does not matter. So I'm going to maybe start with 59, and I'm going to say, well, 59 is to 350. So sine of 59 over 350. Now, one thing I want you to notice is that X right there in the beginning, in the middle of that triangle, that tells us it's the law of sine. That's just a nice reminder, even though we already started with it. And what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply and divide. So sine of 83 times 350 equals to C times the sine of 59. And then we are going to divide by the sine of 59. To cancel that piece out, okay, sine of 59. C will come out, and it will equal, so we come back over to Desmos, make sure we're in degree mode, and we are. I'm going to take sine of, let's look at it, sine of 83 times 350, sine of 83 times 350 divided by, okay, sine of 59. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make it like we divided by sine of 59. Okay, and when we get that, we have 405.27. Let's just say 405.3 to be good and rounded to the tenths. Now that's a law of sine. You're going to pick an angle. You're going to look for an X when you draw to the opposite side of the triangle. Look for that X. That'll tell you that it's a law of sine. One fraction needs to be completed in full. The other one can only be missing one piece. And then you can solve that proportion.